Hi, this is Jonah Dempsey, your host of the Human Design Deconditioning Guide. And I want to talk about the purpose of the Undefined Centers. One of the things people ask me when they first start getting into human design is, well, don't I just want everything to be defined? Don't I want all my centers to be defined? Why would I have an undefined center? And, you read online about it and it says, well, these centers become potential sources of wisdom. Sure, that's good. I mean, it's kind of vague, right? And you read online and they say, okay, well, the undefined center is like a window and the defined center is a wall. So the undefined center is where you take in from other people. And it's not bad, but you still end up feeling like it's bad. People are still like, God, I wish I had a defined G center. It sucks having undefined G center. Oh, I wish I had a defined ego. I hate having undefined ego, and so on. Well, on the one hand, it's kind of nice to notice this attitude shift over time, because it will. Because the more you study human design, and really the more you observe and practice it, by which I mean you notice the centers, you notice your interactions with people and things like that, the more that happens, the more you become happy with your design. You become content with it, right? But that's not just what the centers are for. It's not like some yardstick to see how happy you are having undefined centers. No, what I think one of the great purposes of the centers, of the undefined centers, is to call out the defined centers. The defined centers need them. It's symbiotic. It is a symbiotic relationship. Defined solar plexus. These are people who are emotional and they don't know they're emotional. They're in a mood. They don't know they're in a mood. They're being impulsive. They don't realize they're being impulsive. Heck, even undefined people have all these issues when they spend time around someone who's defined. If you're in a relationship with someone who has a defined solar plexus, you are basically an emotional being for the extent of the time you're with them, and you need to actually spend time away from them to get back to yourself. I have a friend who has an undefined solar plexus, and she's with someone who has a defined solar plexus, and he's very impulsive and does all that classic defined solar plexus stuff. He wouldn't describe himself as impulsive, and he's not usually, but when he's on the peak or the bottom of his wave, he makes rash decisions. When you're high on the wave, you're like someone you just met, you're like, hey, let's go on this trip together, right? When you're low on the wave, you're like, you have to leave tonight. There's urgency. That's just the solar plexus, right? The solar plexus has a sense of urgency. So, she's living with this guy, and then I talk to her, and I notice that she seems like an emotional being. She's like, I gotta figure something out tonight. I can't wait till tomorrow. And all this stuff, all this sense of urgency, of needing to do something, and being conditioned to act. That's because of her undefined solar plexus. So, when you spend time with somebody and you're undefined and they're defined, you begin to act like the defined center.